Hello and welcome to a Forest Lines Forever laddercast. We have JaggedAppliance versus Blodir on Crossfire Canal. Now, Blodir is playing as Obfuscation, his AKA on ladder, rating 2192 as you can see. JaggedAppliance with 2067. Both players are very high rated, very strong in 1 versus 1, and they're at it on Crossfire Canal, otherwise known as Pizza. So, JaggedAppliance on the top right side with red UEF, and Blodir on the bottom left with blue Cybrin. Let's take a look at the build orders here. JaggedAppliance building 5 P-gens in his main base before his air factory, and Blodir building something similar, 5 P-gens, then his air factory with 2 NGs going to the hydro, and JaggedAppliance with 2 NGs going to the hydro. Okay, so very similar build orders here. Where is the third engineer gonna go? So for Blodir, he is sending his third engineer to the hydro as well. Now I usually see 2 NGs, but Blodir wants to get power quickly. A lot of the time the third engineer is going to be sent down here maybe, sometimes up here, to start building, to get the reclaim, to build a factory, to start building engineers to get reclaim up here. And an early engineer is going to come down around here to get the reclaim from the perimeter of the base. As you can see, the base is on raised terrain here on the plateau. So the reclaim has already started, as there's not much mass to go around from mexes early on. Blodir now started with his air factory, with 2 engineers assisting. And JaggedAppliance a little bit more quicker. A little bit quicker with the air factory. Already started with his interceptor. Interestingly, not going scout first. Usually when players go interceptor first, they build a scout to send it along and scout the transport from their opponent. As we can see, Blodir is going for transport first. If Jagged had scouted it a little earlier, he would have been able to target this transport with his interceptor. And I think that was probably a mistake from Jagged. Now he's going to miss the transport. Not going to get a target on that Indy. And Blodir not going to have much problem dropping off his NGs over here at the right side. The right slice of the pizza, if you will. Here comes Jagged with more interceptors. Even though he wasn't able to target the transport, at least with more interceptors out in the sky, he's able to prevent Blodir from producing any more inties. He's just blocking the factory with his interceptors. Well, now he's coming back. He's going to try to take out the transport, better late than never. Every engineer here building a mechs. So Blodir ahead of the game, getting those mechs up and running really quickly here. In the main base, JaggedAppliance building power generators. And here, some action still going on in the sky. JaggedAppliance denying Blodir's interceptors for as long as possible, and taking advantage of his air win to send a transport of his own over to the left side, the left slice. And that's going to be an offensive drop here. Normally the pizza is divided in 2 along this diagonal line. But JaggedAppliance is making an incursion into Blodir's territory with this drop, setting up shop, and depriving Blodir of a slice. Now Blodir, if he catches wind of this, he might already have. Let's take a look. Not yet. Blodir might send a transport over here to the right side on JaggedAppliance's half of the pizza, so that he can have an equal number of slices, and that's going to divide the map in half this way along this line. But so far, Blodir not making any moves towards either slice, left or right. And Blodir, we can see, did not send his ACU to either slice, so he's not going to be able to use his ACU to deny this drop over here by JaggedAppliance, and soon this slice is going to be well fortified. Blodir might be planning something with this left slice though, as soon as he discovers it. This main base a little bit more posed to make offensive moves on the left slice. For example, Blodir might be able to make a TML before Jagged does, as it's more likely that he'll have Tech 2 building on in the main base. Jagged, another transport over to the right side, Blodir with nothing. It's Jagged who drops on the right slice. Blodir very late with that transport. And he only has engineers in that transport. Jagged, as he is dropping, he's already dropped, he might be able to finish a factory before Blodir's even able to make landfall. And we can see how this map is starting to look more and more occupied by red. But let's take a look at the mass income. JaggedAppliance going for map control, but Blodir with 3,000 more mass collected. He's actually not that far behind. He's focusing most of his energy and resources into building engineers to reclaim. And Jagged behind on building mexes, as Blodir has built most of his mexes on his right island, while Jagged, while he has dropped his NGs on the slices, has not finished building all the mexes there. Nor has he started reclaiming on these expansion islands. So we can see the result of that, Blodir having 3,000 more mass collected. And here's a drop from Blodir with about 6 or so labs down to 4, and another group of engineers over here at the bottom side of the slice. So Blodir not going to let go of this island so easily. Jagged with his ACU over here though, so there's going to be some action brewing on the right slice here. But Blodir already has 4 factories on this island, working on 3 more. With that factory count, he shouldn't have much of a problem pushing Jagged out of here and taking this right slice for himself. Over here in the main base, Blodir's ACU still sitting practically where it started from the very beginning of the game. I don't think he's walked more than 10 meters throughout this whole 9 minutes with his ACU, and he already has a Tech 2 air factory. What is he planning is the question. Blodir with a Tech 2 land factory now, already finished with his T2 P-Gen, and his first Wagner already starting to make his way towards the left side, as we can see. And we can see that this main base a big threat to Jagged's expansion here on the left side, as Blodir is able to produce Corsairs or any Tech 2 air unit, and Wagners from the Tech 2 land factory, and he can mobilize them very quickly to start maneuvers or assaults on this left-sided left slice. More drops on the way. Does he need those drops though? He has so many factories here. And I think he's overdoing it with the factories right now, as Jagged doesn't seem to have nearly as many. But better safe than sorry, thinks Blodir perhaps. He can certainly afford these factories, as he does have quite a lot of mass collected. And Blodir dominating the skies here, the cloud of interceptors. Jagged moves to challenge. Jagged with a Tech 2 air factory of his own. No Tech 2 land, however. Not yet. And this Wagner is going to be kind of annoying for Jagged. With this Wagner, Blodir can prevent lots of reclaim on the left side and a big air engagement, with Blodir getting the advantage here. And soon, JaggedAppliance's ACU gonna be in danger, as the Tech 2 land spam approaches. Of course, the ACU has a clear path to the water. Corsairs now out for Blodir. Where is he going to send them? Chances are he's going to try to scout JaggedAppliance's T2 Pigeon. Small skirmishes still occurring over here on the right side. JaggedAppliance heading towards the water with his ACU, meaning that he may be folding up shop here. I don't know if that's an expression. He's closing up shop and headed out. There you go. And a support factory, Tech 2 support factory of Blodir already finished on the right side. Blodir going to take this right-sided right slice convincingly. Corsairs now on the way. Jagged does not have any shields. These Corsairs are not going to have any problem taking out T2 Pigeons, as Blodir targeted them. Here he comes. There goes a T2 Pigeon. That's painful. Is Jagged going to lose all of his power? Is that going to spell the end for JaggedAppliance? 13 minutes into the game. Blodir now targeting the Tech 2 air factory. Not a good choice of target, as there is Tech 2 Pigeon still remaining. And these Corsairs are diminishing in number. Down goes the last one without being able to finish off this Tech 2 air factory. JaggedAppliance still with some power. In fact, producing just as much power as Blodir, if not more. And these gunships delaying the advance of Blodir's land units ever so slightly, but easily mopped up by Blodir's interceptors. Wagners are sneaking about and taking out mexes one by one, but they haven't done major damage to this left-sided expansion, and Jagged not putting in much effort to reclaim. There's a lot of reclaim to be had here, but he sort of has to deal with this incursion first. Navy movement from Blodir, attempting to deny JaggedAppliance's naval production here on the top side. 4 naval factories blocked by these frigates, and JaggedAppliance able to build some torps which may be enough to take out some of these frigates, or all of these frigates, but quite a few are streaming in. And now Corsairs headed to Jagged's Tech 2 mexes on the top left slice. And the attack is successful. JaggedAppliance doesn't have a substantial enough air force to deal with these Corsairs. And Blodir getting into good position against Jagged's interceptors. It looks like he's going to be able to wipe him out entirely. Oh man, that's painful. And this is a huge victory for Blodir. Blodir taking out Tech 2 mexes, a couple T2 P-gens, and that's going to put Jagged quite behind. But Blodir doesn't press any further with his Corsairs here. Curiously, he had a decent opportunity to take out a couple more Tech 2 mexes. So much reclaim here from JaggedAppliance's land production that Blodir was able to defeat. And that's more mass for Blodir. Oh, Blodir returns with his Corsairs and takes out the remaining 2 Tech 2 mexes. Well done. And Jagged struggling to defend, as Blodir again and again wipes out Jagged's interceptor squadrons. And Wagners have snuck into Jagged's main base. This is going to be really, really difficult for JaggedAppliance to clean up here. Most of the reclaim concentrated on this JaggedAppliance's side over here, and Blodir with access to quite a bit of reclaim here on this right slice. So Jagged successfully able to defend his naval production, and he's sending quite a few frigates of his own down now. And actually it kind of looks like Jagged has more navy. Actually, it's clear that he has more navy, with Blodir having only 4 naval factories. Can Jagged leverage? Ouch! Look at those Corsairs coming in and sweeping up Jagged's economy on the left side. Now these are only Tech 1 mexes, so it wasn't that big an impact compared to the top left, but this is basically showing that Blodir is really able to sort of leverage his Corsairs with impunity. And without these mexes on the left side, Jagged is really going to struggle against Blodir. Jagged is going to have a hard time catching up to Blodir's eco. And now Blodir bolstering his navy with torp bombers. Here comes Jagged for another go with his interceptors. Does Jagged have enough interceptors here? He may, but Blodir has positional advantage. And a cruiser out for JaggedAppliance. This cruiser may be important here. If Jagged can defend his cruiser with what is currently the superior navy, he'll have a very, very strong unit that can deny some of these high value targets here, like these mexes. But there's so many torp bombers, this cruiser might be toast. Here come the torp bombers. Have they targeted it? They have, but they're all shot down. The cruiser now at half health, however. And the final drop might be able to take it out. There it goes. Cruisers with very little HP. Jagged has to work to protect them. And now Jagged with only 2 slices, really, effectively. Blodir with 3. Blodir still amassing Corsairs, it looks like. Or at least he was until recently. Wagner's still out, sneaking about. And Blodir has sucked up most of the mass here available to him. But he's poured most of it into unit production. But clearly he has the superior economy. He has 140 or so mass income per tick. And Jagged has a cruiser here, so he has an advantage in this airfight. And Blodir's interceptors, for the first time, denied by Jagged. And Jagged's navy crushing over here on in the middle. And with air control and naval control, Jagged in an actually pretty decent position right now. Jagged can send his cruiser down to the bottom right slice this way along this river, and he can start assaulting these 4 Tech 2 mexes. JaggedAppliance with gunships out. Blodir has to start building flak here from these Tech 2 land factories. Gunships over here targeting that Tech 2 mechs. But there is an air presence. Cruisers are now headed down this middle river southward, but a Salem on the way. I think these are enough frigates to deal with 1 Salem. And Jagged coming back with a vengeance with so many gunships. How is he able to afford so many gunships? And Jagged has pushed back Blodir's navy almost entirely. But Blodir trying to start a naval shipyard over here on the right side. And Jagged, without any destroyers, might not be in the best position to lay down fire on this naval shipyard. Blodir with 2 Salems to defend. But these cruisers are starting to lay down some heavy damage over here in these 4 mexes on this bottom right slice. I think Blodir is spending a lot of resources here. Or he did spend a lot of resources here. And I don't know where all of his units went, to be honest. JaggedAppliance is building more and more gunships. He's not stopping. And those cruisers have been hitting this naval factory for quite a while now, and it's down to half health already. Jagged can easily finish off this Tech 2 naval factory. But he's going to retreat for now. Salems have pushed him out, and another air fight on the left side. cruisers have knocked out a lot of, one Tech 2 mechs. Not a lot, I was about to say a lot of Tech 2 mechs. Not so, not yet. But Jagged is in a very good position to take out this entire base on the bottom right slice. The air fight on the left side going in Blodir's favor. Jagged, most of these seem to be out of fuel. Slim pickings, or easy pickings, sorry, for Blodir. But Blodir should be turning his attention to these gunships. These gunships are taking out all of Jagged's Salems. Losing a lot of gunships in the process, however. And now Jagged in a really good position to wipe out Blodir's navy again, as Blodir has lost all of his destroyers. And we can see that there's still Wagners out, but they're not as useful as they were earlier in the game. This naval crush is the most important detail here, but Blodir has so many torp bombers out now. Blodir might actually be able to defend against this naval attack. What happened? Where did Jagged's Air Force go? Blodir with way more interceptors now, and all of a sudden he has so many torp bombers. Blodir almost finished building or rebuilding his Tech 2 naval factory. Oh my goodness, this entire naval fleet is going to be obliterated by torp bombers. Despite having cruisers in the mix, so Blodir not too worried at this point about the navy. In fact, Blodir has quite a lot of reclaim available for him to add to his economy. But Jagged now with Tech 3 Air. It could not have come sooner. Or I mean, how do I say that? It could not have come at a better time. It could have. It should have been earlier. I apologize. Definitely, right now, Tech 3 Air would be helpful. And it certainly would have been helpful if it had come out earlier. Blodir, is he working on Tech 3 Air? Doesn't seem like it. And that's a problem, as Jagged is going to be able to retake the skies. But then Blodir is going to have Navy. Can Blodir balance air and navy so that he can defend against Jagged's Tech 3 Air and still maintain the seas? So now Jagged with around 120. Well, both players seem to have parity in the mass income. Jagged with about 130 mass income per tick. Blodir around the same, but Blodir has a lot more mass collected overall. 10,000 mass more collected. And it sort of seems like Jagged has been using his units more efficiently. Jagged still preserving his fleet. It kind of looked there like Blodir was going to wipe out Jagged's entire navy, but Jagged able to alleviate some of the pain, the pressure here. And a lot of the torps have retreated over here to the main slice. Jagged's still working on retaking this left side. It's taken him a very long time to secure this left side, and he could be getting a lot more income by reclaiming a lot of these and rebuilding his mexes, and certainly he's on the case. It's just that there was so much action going on over here and continuous pressure from Blodir. Jagged making some moves with his gunships, taking away bits and pieces of Blodir's economy. Where does he stand with Tech 3 Air? He is building his second Tech 3 Pigeon, and he has a Strat Bomber out. Strat Bomber now out for Jagged. What will be his first target? And Blodir with Tech 3 Air. And Blodir has built a gunship, a whaler with his Tech 3 Air factory. So both players seeking to be really aggressive at the onset with their Tech 3 Air. Jagged sending his ASFs to their demise. Not the best usage of his ASFs. They intended to take out this whaler, but Blodir defending it with all of his air force. Jagged has positioned his navy to prevent Blodir from stepping out of this river into a strong position. It kind of looks like Jagged has a decent shot at bringing some of his navy down and starting to lay down some missile fire on these Tech 2 mexes. If Jagged were to send some cruisers down here, Blodir would have a difficult time taking those cruisers out. This whaler, unchallenged, is denying Jagged from taking this left slice. So Jagged kind of he's working with two slices at the moment, and Blodir in a similar situation as this right slice has been challenged continuously throughout the game. And it's sort of the result of their decisions to drop their first NGs on their opponent's side. Neither player able to really take the side islands. And the Strat Bomber is headed down to this Tech 2 naval factory. He takes out all those anti-air turrets. I don't know if it was the best target. Where is it headed next? He may be targeting all of these NGs, but that job could have been done by Tech 1 bombers, to be honest. I don't know if that was the most efficient use of a Strat Bomber, but it did do damage. It took out a lot of NGs. And it did prevent Blodir from producing Tech 2 naval units more quickly. Right now, Jagged and Blodir are being very cautious with their ASFs. They have similar numbers of ASFs at the moment, but Jagged with a pretty big navy in comparison to Blodir. And now there's a massive air engagement with Blodir sending so many torp bombers out while engaging Jagged's air force, and Jagged Looks like his ASF force is diminishing. It's dwindling, and Blodir successfully pushes Jagged out of the river. And that was a big blunder from Jagged. Blodir was very well prepared for that attempt. With so many torp bombers being sent out at once. And that air engagement highly favoring Blodir. And now Blodir is able to move his navy into the middle. So much reclaim here for him as well. And Jagged is going to have to work really hard to recover his air force. Jagged should have built more cruisers, I think. These cruisers are very, very powerful against torp bombers, though according to Blodir, torp bombers are more efficient than cruisers. I do think having a few cruisers would have been very helpful for Jagged, considering he lost air. But now Blodir, with so many frigates bearing down on Jagged's navy, 3 Salems, and still torp bombers. Here comes Jagged with a counter. A strat taking out Tech 2 mexes one by one while Blodir's air force is occupied. And Blodir doesn't seem to be aware at the moment. No ASFs on the way to respond. And that's going to take a cut out of Blodir's eco. Pretty substantial cut, actually. Just by 1 strat bomber. And Jagged now defending his naval shipyard. And he seems to have somehow recovered his ASF count. Where are all of Blodir's ASFs? What happened? I have no idea what is going on in this game. It seems like one player is at a huge disadvantage, and all of a sudden he has more air, more navy. It's confusing me. And now Jagged seems to have air control. Not a single torp bomber out from Jagged, though. He doesn't seem to be interested in torp bombers all game. That strat has been taken care of, though. Gunships are taking out these Salems. But Blodir awaiting, or waiting to use his ASFs, not sure exactly what he's waiting for. He's already lost a couple Salems to gunships. And here come the ASFs at last, but can Jagged respond? It was a quick hit and run. Blodir knowing that his ASFs are in danger if they linger too long. They're kind of staring each other down right now. Jagged now with torp bombers out. He might be in a good position to start poking his head out of the river and seeing what he can do to push Blodir's navy back once more. Jagged now with 2 Tech 3 mexes. He seems to be overtaking Blodir in mass income. And slowly, that's going to allow Jagged to outproduce Blodir little by little. And the outcomes of these battles will go more in his favor. A little bit of a lull in the game. Neither player wanting to start a conflict. It's kind of unspoken armistice going on right now, with minor skirmishes here and there. Both players collecting the reclaim from the previous battle. Now Jagged venturing out with his ASFs. It definitely looks like Jagged has a more substantial ASF count right now. So if they were to engage, Jagged will probably win the air fight. And only several minutes ago, Blodir was dominating in air, just wrecking Jagged's navy with torp bombers. I have no idea what happened to change the situation. Perhaps Blodir was building too many torps. Perhaps he just didn't have the eco to maintain air control. Jagged has a very strong Tech 3 eco right now, building his third Tech 3 mechs with 11,000 power income. And that's likely how he recovered his ASF count so quickly. He simply had better eco. And Blodir has been laying down some heavy Tech 2 naval fire on Jagged's navy here. And Jagged hasn't been really responding. He's been allowing it, absorbing a lot of the damage, biding his time before he has enough units to confidently push out. JaggedAppliance has several destroyers now in the mix. Blodir with a similar number. Let's take a look at how many. Jagged with 9 destroyers and Blodir with only 6. And Jagged now making a move. He's venturing out, and Blodir responding by sending his frigates all at once into the middle to engage. Is Jagged going to retreat? Jagged starts retreating back into the river. ASFs are moving, feeling each other out. No engagement yet, though. This is all Navy. Jagged with his destroyers all in one place. And he's doing quite a lot of damage to Blodir's navy right now. A lot of Blodir's frigates taking so much damage from those destroyers. And JaggedAppliance able to absorb a lot of the frigate fire with his shields. So I think that little engagement went in Jagged's favor by a lot, actually, leaving him quite a bit of reclaim. Blodir positioning his units in a concave formation. So that he can lay down all kinds of destroyer fire from afar. Jagged has to get more torp bombers out. He's not really using torps this game, even though he does have air control. Bricks are coming out for Blodir. What is he planning? Is he gonna do a brick drop? Blodir now with 4 Tech 3 mexes on the bottom right slice, overtaking Jagged in eco. Jagged has not been building Tech 3 mexes as quickly as Blodir, though he did have more initially. Is Jagged gonna make a move with his navy? I think he will. He does have more firepower overall, I think, even though it looks like Blodir has a lot of frigates. Jagged is in a good position to start venturing out with his navy, and here comes Jagged's ASFs, preventing Blodir from defending his navy from these torp hours. Bricks now on the way on. They're sneaking by on the left side. Where are they gonna land? They can take out all of Jagged's Tech 2 mexes on this top left corner if Jagged is not paying attention. Jagged should have been able to see them. Yes, he can see the blips on the radar, but there's a lot of action going on over here in the middle. And maybe Jagged's not able to focus on things that are happening in the periphery. And Jagged should really start pushing down here to the bottom right corner. He has so many destroyers. He has enough firepower to do it. He has a lot of torp bombers. Now is the time to make the move. And the transport, those transports both get taken down. They were Tech 2 transports all taken down by Tech 1 anti-air. Oh man, that was such a good opportunity for Blodir if he had just dropped them a little bit further. Did he not know about the anti-air? It appears not. And he drops them straight onto the anti-air, and that brick drop fails massively. And now JaggedAppliance completely mopping the floor with his navy. This is the most decisive naval victory yet during this game, and Jagged now in a perfect position to send his entire navy down to, well, to erase Blodir's navy production. But Jagged not really moving. He can start moving down little by little. But he shouldn't take too long because Blodir is building up quite the eco here. And Blodir now has Tech 3 Naval Factory. Jagged should have started building Tech 3 Naval Factory as well with his income. With battle cruisers, I don't know what Blodir could make to counter battle cruisers. Now, Jagged about to scout this Tech 3 Naval HQ. Once he scouts that, I think he's going to respond by building a Tech 3 Naval Factory of his own. Or at least, moving his navy down. JaggedAppliance has 12 destroyers. He should not be delaying any further. Here he comes. And I don't think Blodir has nearly enough units here to defend. This looks like some sort of injection into this vessel, just unclogging this vessel here. JaggedAppliance wants to unclog this vessel and free it from any Blodir. This battleship not going to be too effective in close quarters. That said, it's taking a while for these ships to find their way. They're really quite clogged here, and so many torps. sneaking past those ASF, but they're going to be cleaned up pretty quickly now. And Jagged has broadswords to take care of the remainder of Blodir's navy. A small brick drop over here on the top side. Will it be more successful than that previous brick drop? And of course Jagged winning convincingly with his ASF count. And the battleship's still alive, curiously. Perhaps not such a mystery when you look at how much health it has, 47,000 health to deal with. But now Jagged doesn't have many more obstacles left. The injection is almost through, and Jagged is just meters away from that Tech 3 Naval HQ. And his ASF flying freely through Blodir's airspace. And look at all this reclaim going to JaggedAppliance. And Blodir says the GG. Well played by JaggedAppliance. Well done. That was a killer. That was a crazy game from the outset. There were some really scary moments there for Jagged, where Blodir wiped out his, or was about to wipe out his navy with a massive number of torp bombers, and Jagged had lost all of his air control. But somehow he was able to recover. And once those ASFs started to come out, oh boy. Well done. Well played by Blodir. But here I think Jagged had a slight edge, and it slowly snowballed in his favor. And with that final naval push, Jagged was able to get a convincing lead. Well played by Jagged again. Thanks for watching this game. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you in the next cast.